Hi guys. So, if anybody hasn't seen, a very popular, there was a bug, a very popular YouTuber by the name of Troy Sivan, I think that's how you say it, recently posted a video 3 days ago, it's on the popular page, of him coming out of the closet. And I mean, he had already come out to his parents and he was coming out to YouTube. And he was just sharing his story of how he came out and how he figured it out and everything. And I just called my friend Justin, who is openly gay, and I asked him if he would like to do a video with me later, talking about how he came out and his story. And my story isn't half as interesting, but I am openly bisexual, and I thought that I would share my story because Troy said that the way that he found courage to come out to his family was by looking at YouTube videos and hearing stories of other people coming out. So I thought it would be interesting, and Justin's a really lovable character. He said he might come today or tomorrow to do it, and he's really lovable. He reminds me a lot of Tyler Oakley. So I think you guys will like him, and I think you'll like his story. I haven't heard it before, so it'll be new to me, and I wanted to share mine. So, when I was little, I always kind of had an attraction to girls, but I myself was very religious. My family never was, but I had a tendency to lean on religion a lot when I was little. I don't know why I did. It was just who I was. And I mean, I'm still religious, but I'm not like crazy religious, you know, praying every day and stuff like that. I don't go to a church anymore because the last one I went with my boyfriend and we broke up. And the church that I went to with him, I had gone to for a good year because we dated for 16 months and it felt like home. And the pastor recently died of cancer, and it's not home anymore, you know, and I'm just not ready to get back out there. It's kind of like a dating game, I guess. But anyway, I always kind of had an attraction to girls, and I never admitted it to anybody, let alone, I didn't admit it to myself, because in my eyes, it wasn't right to feel that way. I mean, I was so anti-gay. I mean, I wasn't anti-gay. Like, I didn't care if people were gay, but I didn't want to be because I didn't want to be different and stuff like that. But, I was so against myself feeling this that I wouldn't admit it to myself. But, I was attracted to girls and I just wouldn't admit it. This was in about 7th grade. I know, so young, but, you know, and then when I got to be in 8th grade, I'm a senior now, by the way, in high school, and when I got to be in 8th grade, I kind of started rebelling against who I was, and I wasn't exactly rebelling against my parents, I was kind of rebelling against religion in general, and, like, what I saw as the metaphorical chains binding me to do what the Bible says. And a lot of people in my school are bi and gay, and we live in a small town, and a lot of us are. It's not an uncommon thing. It's very socially accepted. And so I just kind of, the way that I first started to kind of experiment with it, I mean, I haven't, like, had sex with a girl or anything, but, you know, I've, like, kissed girls and stuff, but, the way that I kind of allowed myself to feel the way I feel and to get out there and, you know, kiss a girl or something like that. I was with a guy named Andrew at the time, and, you know, he was one of those guys that thought it was hot when girls kissed each other, and so that was the way I justified it to myself, was by saying, oh, well, if it's just to, you know, turn him on or whatever, blah, 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 then it's okay. But it was more than that. It wasn't just, you know, for him, it was for me. I keep looking over here because this is where, like, where my hand is where my face is, obviously, which I'm looking at my face and not at the camera. I should be looking at the camera, but I'm sorry, I'm looking at my face. But yeah, that's the way I kind of justified it to myself, was, oh, it's not what it seems. And so me and my group of friends at the time, we all kind of rebelled at the same time and discovered who we were and stuff at the same time. So I you know, kiss girls, blah blah blah. Actually, the first time that I ever kissed a girl is a very interesting story. It was completely on accident. I know, you can't accidentally kiss someone. But it was. I was sitting next to my friend Morgan, and I had my arm around her, and she leaned over to me and she kissed me on the cheek. And I turned my head to do it back, and then she turned her head at the same time because somebody on this side of us was talking to her, and it was a complete accident, but that was the first time that it had ever happened to me. I've actually kissed the majority of my female friends, but I mean, I have never had anything serious with any of my female friends. The girl that you've seen on my YouTube channel, Darian, I mean, we've kissed. I mean, not like full on made out or anything, but I mean, we've like pecked and stuff, you know. We don't think it's weird. And I mean, you've never seen Desiree, but I've kissed Desiree before. I kissed Desiree because Desiree had never had a first kiss before, so I was just like, alright, I'll help you get it over with. This is getting to be really long, but I, actually, freshman year came around, and I'm still rebelling and stuff with my group of friends, and I, came across Tumblr on the web, and I decided to post 10 secrets about me on Tumblr. And at this point in time, I was using the same alias everywhere on the internet. Every account I had was under the same name, and that name is what my email is, Zippo2014, or Zippo4496. It's, you know, same thing. I still do that a lot. My aliases right now are Pose Annabelle Lee and Pose Annie Lee. It changes a lot, but usually if you find somebody with that name, it's me. So, I just wasn't talking to my mom about what was going on in my life, and I lived with my mom, and only my mom at the time. My older sister, Brianna, had already passed away, which is a story for another time. She was physically handicapped and had been all her life, and she was 15 years old, and it was just her time. That's a story for another day. But Brianna had already passed away, and my oldest sister, Justine, was 23 and had already moved out. So it was just me and my mom in the house. And I wasn't talking to my mom about anything, and she thought that I was depressed because of Brianna, because I had been in the room when Brianna died. And I was one of the only people in the room when she died, other than my mom. And she thought that it was getting to me, but it wasn't. It was, but it wasn't. You know, that wasn't what I was going through at the time. Anyway, so one of the secrets that I posted was, I'm openly bisexual, but I will never tell my family. And it was in picture form. Like, I took a picture of myself holding up a sign that said that, and then there was a little mini sign that said I kiss girls. And I really didn't plan on telling my family. And the reason for that was because I have a cousin who came out as bisexual, and they kind of made fun of her for it. I mean, they weren't serious when they did it, but the fact that they did it at all scared me away from telling anybody. I know now that they really didn't mean any harm, and that they're sorry for doing it, but it happened. So I didn't want to tell anybody. So my mom looked up my alias on the internet. She looked up Zippo2014. She found everything. She found my blogs. She found Daily Booth, all the accounts that I had 4 years ago. She found them all of them. And I changed my Tumblr after that, obviously, and I haven't kept my Tumblr the same as all of my accounts since then. Or my Twitter, because I've recently gotten more into Twitter than my Tumblr. But she found everything. She did. And she found that picture. And she was at work when she did it. So she printed it all off, and she came home, and she confronted me about it. And I was crying, and she was crying. And she looked me dead in the eye, and she said, Brandi, if you're bisexual, it's who you are. I know it's not a choice. You know, I'm going to accept you no matter what. You're my daughter. I love you. And that's basically how I came out to my mom. I didn't come out willingly, but I still haven't come out to my dad, because it's not as big a part of my life as I thought it would be, because I'm bisexual, leaning more towards straight. But that's only because I haven't really found a girl that I would be willing to have a serious relationship with. I mean, there was a girl a while back, and her name was Kat, but things just didn't go well. You know, we were both in rough spots in our life, and I was just breaking up with my boyfriend of 16 months that I mentioned earlier. Things just weren't, we just both weren't in a good place when we dated, but maybe if things had been different, then we would have been different. But I mean, I've seen her since then. She's doing well. She's the only girl that I've legitimately dated. I mean, there was this girl in my school, in my band, but I never really considered it official. But, I mean, I'm still attracted to girls. I would date one if I ever wanted to be in a serious relationship with one. I mean, but I've never been serious because, I don't know. I don't know how to maintain a relationship with a girl, and people were all like, oh, it's just the same as with a guy, but it doesn't feel the same for me. I guess I still have some of that Christianity down at the root of me, but I don't know, that's my story of how I came out. My dad still doesn't know, so hopefully he doesn't know that I have a YouTube account, so he won't see this. But yeah, this is a really long video. I'm sorry, but I've been talking the entire time. I have other friends who are like me, who I might have make videos with me. Hopefully Justin will be over soon to make his video. You'll love him. You really will. He's wonderful. But yeah, that's my story. And my story, the moral of the story is don't be afraid to tell your family because they're gonna love you. You know? I mean, the only people in my family that really know are my mom and my sister. But again, it's not a huge thing in my life anymore. It was back then, but it's not now because I've been dating the same guy for about 6 months now. He drives me crazy. But yeah, I'm usually with guys. But I'm still attracted to girls. But yeah, that's my story. I was afraid to come out or to experiment or to do anything because of my strong Christian morals, and I know now that you can be Christian and still not be exactly according to the book. Like, you can be Christian and smoke, and you can be Christian and be gay. I mean, God loves everybody, you know? So, I'm not huge super Christian anymore, but I know now that it's not black and white. The world isn't black and white. There's a huge gray area, and, you know, that's important for people to know, is that the world isn't black and white. Because that's kind of how Christians view the world. There's wrong and there's right. There's no in between, but, you know, that's where opinions come in, and I don't know. I mean, I have my friend Desiree, who, she thought she was transgender, but I think she's changed her mind. It's difficult to explain. She'd have to explain it to you guys herself. And my friend Darian is bisexual. I don't think she's come out at all. I mean, her peers know, right? But I don't think her family knows at all. Her family doesn't know anything about her. She doesn't really like her family. And then there's Justin, who's openly gay. And so I kind of hope my videos help you guys, maybe a little bit. I mean, if my experience is anything like your guys's, then it'll help. So stay strong, you guys. I believe in you. Mwah. And if there's a zombie apocalypse, good luck.